Hey guys, welcome back to Big Strong Book. I'm Reed, and today I don't have a short story review or a book review, but I have a very fun and special announcement. I have an announcement about a read-along that I will be leading for the Osten Ard Saga by Tad Williams. So if you don't know, the Osten Ard Saga is a combination of two series written by American fantasy author Tad Williams. And of course, as many people know, like fantasy for a while, especially in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, couldn't exactly escape the tropes of J.R.R. Tolkien. You know, of course, we had the Shannara series, we had things like that, or we had responses to Tolkien with the Stephen Donaldson's Chronicles of Thomas Covenant. But then in the 80s, we got a vision similar to Tolkien, but that really expanded and gave depth and a good foundation to the political intrigue side of those epic fantasy stories. This was a series, so the first series is called Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn. Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn predated The Wheel of Time. It predated A Song of Ice and Fire, and in many respects, it helped to it had a great influence on A Song of Ice and Fire. George R.R. Martin has talked about before about how indebted he is to Tad Williams, and and it's a very phenomenal trilogy, Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn. So we have the first book here, the Dragonbone Chair. So this was published in 1988, as you can see by Daw Books. Of course, it's like many epic fantasy books. It's nice, fat, and thick. But yes, this book is the beginning of such a great tale. I know one criticism or complaint from some readers about this trilogy is that it gets off to a very slow start, and that is quite true. It takes some time. This series, as well as the sequel series here, The Last King of Osten Ard, they're paced deliberately. I wouldn't call it. It wasn't slow for me. It was just very deliberate, but it builds and it builds and it builds in scope and complexity and scale. So again, Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn, the original trilogy, starts with the Dragonbone Chair, and then we have Stone of Farewell. This is book 2. It was released in 1990. And kind of maybe establishes the middle book slog, but I'm excited to revisit this one as well. And then we have the last book, To Green Angel Tower, which kind of famously was so big. This book is, and I've looked this up, it is one of, again, 2 books here. This is one of, I'm probably holding them backwards, aren't I? This is one of the longest books written in the English language. I think combined, To Green Angel Tower, the final book here, is 520,000 words. So, for context, longer than anything Brandon Sanderson has ever written, I think. Certainly longer than any Robert Jordan Wheel of Time book, and of course longer than any George R.R. Martin A Song of Ice and Fire book. It's longer than The Stand by Stephen King. I think it ranks within the top 20 longest ever written in English. And again, so big that for the mass market edition, which is what I have, they had to split it into 2 volumes, and both books are about 800 pages long. So in total mass market, this is about 1,600 pages. So this trilogy, and again, I should mention, To Green Angel Tower, this came out in 1993. So we have the original trilogy, Dragonbone Chair, Stone of Farewell, and To Green Angel Tower. But then, and I don't have it with me here, but there is a bridge novel between this original trilogy and the sequel trilogy, and the bridge novel is called The Heart of What Was Lost. It's very short, 200 pages. It picks up about 6 months after the end of To Green Angel Tower. And then and that came out in 2017. Also in 2017, Tad Williams started his Last King of Osten Ard, which is a sequel series, I should say, not a trilogy. And the first book in that sequel series was The Witchwood Crown, published again by Daw Books in 2017. And I think, again, this takes place about 35 years after the original trilogy. So you get a lot of characters from the original series in this. They are older, maybe not necessarily wiser, but it's fun to see so many characters from the original series back in this one. I am of the mind that this series is kind of better than the original series, but The Witchwood Crown, Book 1. Then we have, I just have the little mass market version, Book 2, Empire of Grass, published in 2019. Then we have Brothers of the Wind. Now, this book was published in 2021, and it is a prequel that takes place 1,000 years before either series. And it deals with, I won't say who it deals with for spoilers, obviously, but it deals with a couple of significant characters that have a looming presence in both series. So it deals with them and their relationship as brothers 1,000 years before. Again, this is short, only about 250 pages, not that long. It's written in a very kind of flowery, poetic prose. It's very good. And then we have not the last book, but the latest book in the series. And this book is amazing, by the way. Into the Narrow Dark. This was published last year. It was published in July 2022. It is book 3. Now, The Last King of Osten Ard is not complete. There is one more book coming out, and it seems like it's going to be released later in 2023. So, of course, we have The Witchwood Crown, Empire of Grass, Into the Narrow Dark. All 3 of these being part of the same series, all 3 taking place 35 years after the original series. The final book in this series, called The Navigator's Children, will be coming out, or it seems like it is slated to come out in November of this year. I believe November 7th. I got that information from just scouring for the book online. I saw the book. It is listed on Amazon. There's a little book jacket synopsis with plot details. It's available for pre-order on Kindle, and you can pre-order the hardcover, and it lists November 7th, 2023 as the release date. Of course, that could change. Tad Williams, he does, I've seen these through YouTube. He does some live streams on Facebook where he'll read passages from his novels, and he usually, before he starts reading, he gives a little life update, usually what he's working on, what he's done in the past week or however long it's been. And he has mentioned that he is finished with the first draft of the book. He has sent that to the editors, sent it to the publisher, but they are working on editing the book. And so, as I mentioned with To Green Angel Tower being a massive book, he was going to try the same with The Last King of Osten Ard, because this book, Into the Narrow Dark, is really half of a book. This is about 600 pages. this is half of a story, because the third book and the fourth book were supposed to be one final book for a trilogy, but the story got so big, and it seems from what he has said, the last book could be up to 900 to 1,000 pages when it's published. So that's a combined 1,700 pages hardcover. So this is just half of a story, but it's still very good. But yeah, so anyway, The Navigator's Children is coming out later this year, hopefully. So anyway, this read-along is to kind of provide a chance for rereaders like myself and for newcomers to the series as well to dive into it for the first time and read at more of a relaxed pace, but read all 8 books leading up to the release of The Navigator's Children in November of this year. So what my plan is, the read-along will start this Sunday, February 12th, and of course we will begin with Book 1, The Dragonbone Chair. I'm sure they have this book at any local bookstore, local library. Right now I believe this mass market edition here, it's very nice. I love the Michael Whalen painting on the cover. It's just gorgeous. I love his artwork. The stuff he's done for Brandon Sanderson as well, and the last Wheel of Time book is just great. But the mass market version is about, I think, $10 on Amazon. Kindle might be around $10 as well, not sure. So this Sunday, February 12th, we will begin with the first 2 chapters of The Dragonbone Chair. And what the schedule will look like, or it should look like, is on Saturdays and Sundays, so on the weekends, we will be reading 2 chapters each day, so 4 chapters total for the weekend, and then 1 chapter a day, Monday through Friday, during the week. So 5 chapters, so a total of about 9 chapters a week. I know in this book, The Dragonbone Chair, mass market version, again, about 800 pages long. It's about reading, each chapter is probably about 15 to 20 pages. Not too big of a time commitment. It's just a little bit each day. But I would recommend, of course would highly recommend. This is right up there with A Song of Ice and Fire, with Malazan Book of the Fallen. It is one of my absolute favorite fantasy series. And interestingly enough, I read this series for the first time, or all these books, last year. It's made that much of an impression on me. It's just, Tad Williams' prose is so beautiful, and the characters he creates are so magnificent, and just his ability to thoroughly plot things and have them all pay off within the span of just a trilogy is phenomenal. So again, we will be starting this Sunday with The Dragonbone Chair. And even if, we're months down the line and you're coming into this video, I'll have all these videos up, and in each video that I will be posting every single day, there will be, it'll be just me discussing the chapters that we read for that day. So it'll be this Sunday, the video will be discussing chapters 1 and 2 of The Dragonbone Chair. On Monday, it'll be chapter 3 and so on. You get the idea. I'm not sure yet if I will be doing, I will for sure be doing a non-spoiler video, or at least just spoilers for what was discussed. So for example, if we are on chapter 20 of The Dragonbone Chair, that video that I post, the discussion video, will have spoilers for the first 20 chapters of The Dragonbone Chair, but nothing past that. I may release spoiler videos which have spoilers for the entire series, for the entire saga. So for rereaders like myself who are kind of thinking about how things might relate to The Navigator's Children, which comes out later this year, those videos might be more geared towards rereaders rather than first-time readers. But again, first-time readers, no worries for spoilers. I will only spoil either things in the chapter, kind of as, again, as a discussion, not as a fresh summary. Discuss things that happen in those chapters and things that happened before. So, yeah, again, this kicks off this next Sunday, February 12th. And again, this is a great series. If you're looking for something that is like Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, whatever you like to watch, is like that, or is like The Wheel of Time, but is very condensed. It's not, I have The Wheel of Time behind me here. It's not 14, 15 books long. It's not a series that is like the incompleteness is dangling above you, or anything like that. This is definitely the series for you. It's complete, and the last series will be complete this year. He has finished writing the last book, so it's not like, I love A Song of Ice and Fire, but it's not like having to wait around for over 10 years for The Winds of Winter. We know the last book in the series will be coming out soon, so now is the time to jump on the hype train and to read this series before it is complete with the Navigator's Children. So again, this Sunday, February 12th, we will be kicking things off with chapters 1 and 2 of the Dragonbone Chair. I'm looking forward to digging into the land of Osten Ard and the Hayholt and Simon and Miriamel and Bennebec with everybody. So yeah, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of this series and what your thoughts are for this read-along. And I will hopefully see all of you this Sunday for the first discussion.